That is a pretty great thing, and something to be very happy about.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it's going to make such a difference in the lives of our students. We endowed that money right away, so we put it into an account, and then we spend the earnings off that investment, and so that provides more than $600,000 a year for us to support our students and programs that help students to reach their workforce and career goals.
Speaking of the programs here at Northeast, what are some of the programs that you've seen that impress you the most in the time that you've been here?
So that's an interesting question, because one of them, it has to be here in our media arts department. This is so fun that our students get the opportunity to learn to be broadcasters and learn how to interview people and use the equipment. I mean, it's such a great experience, and it's fun to watch them and now see many of them working in the industry. I think some of the others that are most interesting to me are programs that I'm not as familiar with. Utility line is a great example. It's so fun to watch the students learning out in our largest classroom, with those utility line programs. The ag programs are really such diversity in that, and really those students want to contribute back to Northeast Nebraska. Our students graduate, they go on to the workforce, or they get a 4-year degree, but they come back to Northeast Nebraska. This is their home, and they want it to continue to be their home.
Yeah, that's something that I've always thought was really cool about Northeast, is the way so many of our students here continue to contribute to the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always fun. Every time I go to a presentation in the community or in the region, I always ask how many Northeast graduates do we have in the house, and it's always fun to see those numbers. So.
That's awesome. So we've talked about a few of the things that you're proud of that have happened here. Yeah. What are a few of the things that you would like to see in the future at Northeast?
Absolutely. I think one of the areas where I hope to improve is really experiences for our part-time students. So our part-time students, their experience is oftentimes coming in and out of our community with classes. Sometimes they can't afford to go full-time. Sometimes they're just not sure what they want. So what I really hope to do over the next few years is make sure that each student that takes a course from us, every one of our learners, which is over 13,000 people, have an opportunity to articulate what their goal is and why they are here, and make sure that if their life experiences are such that they can only be with us part-time, what is their plan for the next 4 or 5 years to complete that degree and reach their academic and workforce goals.
That's awesome. As someone who started off here as a part-time student, hearing something like that and getting those ideas of trying to get more involvement, it sounds incredible.
Yes, and it's really important to us. It's a priority project for the institution, both in our educational services area and our student services area.
So again, that's great. Is there any other things that you would like our student body, our community, to know about what you do here at Northeast?
Well, I would say I wish I was available more to come to classes and to do interviews like this. A lot of times a president's job is really externally facing and really building the brand of the institution and making sure that we're involved with our employers and our elected officials. And so it is so important for me to do that work. I love days like this when I get to spend with our students, and I love spending time in Union 73 and over in Hawks Point having lunch with students. To watch their excitement and their enthusiasm is so much fun, and I really work hard to try to do that a little bit every day, and sometimes I'm successful with that goal and sometimes I'm not. But anytime you students want me to come to your class or come talk to a floor function in the residence halls, please ask. We'll make the time to do that.
Okay. And well, here's a little bit of a plug for our show that's going to go up. I'm a theater student here. We have a show opening on Thursday night.
Yes.
So that is a good opportunity.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I was out of town for the first production that we had in the fall, but I believe I already have my tickets. So you'll see me there. Absolutely.
You will see me there as well.
And what part are you playing?
I am ensemble in the show. I have 6 different parts, so you'll see me doing a bunch of different things throughout.
Oh, it'll be awesome, Alex.
It will be. Thank you so much again for joining us today.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens? Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
You have fun. Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you.
Welcome back to the Squawk. Tonight, I'm pleased to be joined by Northeast Disabilities Advisor, Connie Meyer. Thanks for coming in tonight, Connie.
Hey, no problem. I enjoy it.
So, first off, can you just kind of describe what you do in your position here at Northeast?
As a disability services advisor, I do a lot of different things, but my biggest job is to meet with students, and I love that part of my job. When students get connected with us, I will do the intake, which is just kind of getting to know them, doing a little chit chat with them about what's helpful to them, what's not helpful to them, learning a little bit about what their disability is and how that affects them. And then once they get their accommodations in place, I make sure that those accommodations are sent to the instructors, that the instructors know kind of what they need to be doing, and then follow up with the students. So on a typical day for me, I'm meeting with students, and I usually schedule students every half hour on the half hour. So I'll typically meet with 8 to 10 students a day just to follow up to see how things are going.
So, what are some of the things that you guys address with disabilities? Like, what are some of the things that students can come to you with for disabilities?
We have a variety of disabilities that we work with. We have students who have physical health disabilities, if they have problems with, we have Crohn's disease, diabetes, things like that, where, you might not think that it's something that you need to get connected with disability services with, but my gosh, God forbid if somebody ends up in the hospital for a week or two, how that might impact them and how we can work with them to work with instructors to make sure that the instructors are working with them. We work with people with learning disabilities, people who have had special help with IEPs and stuff in high school. And those people, they can bring us a copy of their IEP, and we can be helping them with all kinds of accommodations to help with that. We also work with people with mental health disabilities, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, things like that. We have a lot of temporary disabilities, and one of the temporary disabilities that we work with is pregnancy. And believe it or not, there's a lot of pregnant students around here, and we consider that a temporary disability because, God forbid they get put on bed rest or something. That might be something to get connected with us, or if they have a broken leg or a concussion, something like that.
So, you talk about the temporary disabilities. Say someone hasn't something come up in the middle of a school year. They haven't needed any disability services, but all of a sudden, middle of the school year, they need you. How do they go about getting started with this?
The best thing to do is to contact us through disability@northeast.edu. That's the email that we use, and all of us have access to it. And that's just to send an email to say, hey, I'm struggling in this, or this is going on right now. I encourage students who have physical health, mental health, or learning disabilities to get connected with us right away, because you might not think you need help, but it's good to have those in place, and we can't do anything retroactive. So the temporary disabilities, just as soon as you know, get in contact with us so we can help with whatever we can.
So what would you say is kind of like the biggest mistake that students make when they're trying to get things lined up with you, and something that they need to know that they might not?
I think the biggest mistake is they wait too long. I mean, I'm doing intakes this week. There are people this week coming to us saying, I'm failing all my classes and I want accommodations. Well, we're not miracle workers. We're not going to get you A's by next week, but we can put accommodations in place that might help you. But I think the biggest mistake people make is they wait too long. It's better to have the accommodations in place and not need them than to need them and not have them in place. Because it's a process. It takes sometimes 4 to 6 weeks to get things in place.
So how did you know that getting into this type of work was something that you wanted to do?
I didn't. I never thought I would work at the college. I worked in mental health my whole life. Graduated from college and ended up working at Liberty Center for 20 years and absolutely loved it. But I knew my boss, Mary Belaski. She used to work for Voc Rehab, and I worked for Liberty Center, so I knew her that way. And when she had an opening out here, she talked to me about it, and I thought, oh, maybe I would like that. And I have just absolutely loved my job.
You talk about getting to meet with students. I'm sure that's something that, even just like that social aspect, getting to meet with students, I'm sure that's something that you might kind of enjoy.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's good for the students too. You know, sometimes we joke that sometimes we get students that come in and they don't really want to leave because they enjoy talking and just having that social outlet that maybe they don't have with a lot of other people. Sometimes people will call me their college mom, and I don't know if I like that for sure, but I like to be able to help out when needed.
Yeah, well, disabilities is obviously a very necessary resource because you never know, like you talk about this, the temporary, some people, you never know when you're going to need it, and some people need it throughout, and so it's obviously a very necessary resource.
We work with about 10% of the students on campus, so, you know, 1 in 10 or more than that are working with us, yeah, in one way or another.
Well, Connie, it was great to kind of hear a little bit more about what you do on campus, and thanks for coming in and kind of talking through all that with us.
No problem. If anybody needs any help or wants to just talk to me about anything, just give me a call.
All right, thanks, Connie.
Thank you.
I'm a licensed practical nurse. I work in rehab, long-term care, and assisted living facilities. When I look at my residents, I see my mom, my dad, and I'm giving the respect and the care I would want. We are protectors of our residents. Their safety, their health, and happiness are 3 things that we're working on 24/7. We've taken an oath to do that, but it's in our hearts to do that.
I was given a prescription opioid pain medication that lasted a lot longer than the pain itself. And within only a few months, I was completely addicted. I lost everything. And I started to watch my life slip away. These drugs are addictive. One prescription can be all it takes to lose everything.
With the recent tragedy here on campus, it's important to take a moment to process and understand both what happened and the steps we can take to help ourselves in these moments. There are plenty of steps that you can take to help process grief and to keep yourself strong mentally in times like these. A big step is to keep yourself patient and not make major changes in times of stress. Another thing you can do is to communicate. Whether with a doctor, another professional, or even a caring friend, just opening up can help make even the toughest moments a bit easier.
How do you handle grief?
Other than repress it, I think it's important to talk to people, your friends and, you know, people you trust.
Perfect.
Today is a National Day of Giving. It is a day to go out and be generous to others. So to commemorate this holiday, we went around campus asking students and faculty if they consider themselves to be generous.
I do feel like I'm a giving person. I try to do, for my job, give as much as I can to parents and students that are coming in so that the process is smooth for them, as smooth as it can be. In my personal life, I give scholarships to students, and that's a giving thing. Yeah, I consider myself to be a giving person.
I would say I am because, well, for example, like on Christmas, I like to give to my friends and I like to give out. It may not be like the most expensive presents, but I like to do as much as I can to make someone smile, I guess.
I would say, in terms of like my idea of generosity would be like trying to help people wherever I can. I know everyone is going through things and everyone has their own struggles and problems during life, so I think, you know, wherever I can, I want to be able to be a resource for people to come and talk to and be open to go and talk to people. If someone's going through something, I want to be able to help them and yeah, just be able to listen, I guess. You know, help people talk about their problems and help people talk about what they're going through, and yeah, that's my idea of generosity. So
I consider myself to be a flawed person. I think that we all have flaws and we're all working to better ourselves, and I'm in that camp. I will hold the door open for people. You know, I'll talk to the person who's maybe sitting by themselves. I do what I can. I want to do more.
Yeah, I would consider myself being a generous person. I find more pleasure in giving gifts than receiving, and so it's one of my big things that I always like to give back, and yeah, I consider myself a generous person.
I would say yes, but more so in the sense that I like to be able to help people whenever I can. Like, I like to be there for my friends as much as possible. So I think so more in that sense.
You know, I would like to think of myself as generous, but I'm a little too broke right now to really be. But with the holidays coming up, it can be a really stressful time of year. With this in mind, we sent Ram out to find some different alternatives to distress during this time of year.
What up, Squawk? It's Unleash the Ram here with
Chandra Roberts.
Chandra Roberts. And are you stressed about the holidays, or are you feeling stressed at all?
You know, unfortunately, it is a little stressful.
Well, you know, to cope with that, let's just read a good book.
That sounds like a great...
They can give you diagrams. How cute. Okay, so what up, Squawk? I'm here with Katie, and Katie, what do you do to relieve stress? Just go from there.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
I have no clue what flavor this is. So. Chewy. Well.
Thanks for the gum.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, no problem.
That was nice. Gold.
Okay. What up, Squawk? I'm here with Ashley, and what do you do to relieve stress?
Something I do, I go on TikTok a lot. I just spend a lot of time on my phone, so I don't have to focus on it.
Do you ever take naps when you're stressed? Yeah. So. Ow.
Okay, eyes closed, everybody. We're taking that.
What up, Squawk? I have Josh Becker. Josh Becker here with me today, and Josh, what do you do for stress relievers? Is there anything you want specifically for a stress reliever? All right. And do you care if we do a stress reliever with you, or do you just want to be left alone?
You can do a stress reliever with me, but if I had the choice, it'd probably just be left alone.
What up, Squawk? It's Unleash the Ram here with
Taylor Christensen,
and Taylor, what do you do to relieve stress? Do you care if we just spray some Febreze?
Absolutely.
What do we got here? We got Bora Bora Waters.
There's no Bora Bora Waters.
Neither have I. So let's just give it a quick. Sorry, I'm not pointing at you. Oops, that. It smells like
It's refreshing.
It smells like Febreze.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The nicotine in e-cigarettes is addictive and can harm brain development. That's why I worry about teens who try e-cigarettes. Many young people use pod-based e-cigarettes like Juul, which have high levels of nicotine. And because teens' brains are still developing, they can quickly become addicted. The tobacco industry uses fruit and candy flavors to attract young people, often turning them into lifelong users. For more, visit healthychildren.org.
From the moments that shape our lives to those that shape our days, broadcasters are there, delivering the most trusted news that keeps you informed when it matters. We are your neighbors, a trusted voice, a lifeline. We are broadcasters. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
As those of you who have made it outside today know, it was a little bit chilly this morning, but it's right around 48 degrees and feeling pretty nice out right now. Then as this week goes on, it's going to get even nicer. Tomorrow, it's going to be sunny with a high of 45 and a low of 33. Into Thursday, we're going to get up into the mid-50s with a minute chance of rain. And then it's going to stay right about the same temperature for the lows for the next 2 days, and our highs are going to hang out in the 60s for the first 3 days of December. We'll also have a chance of rain all 3 days to open up the month, with the highest chance on Friday with a 57% chance. So you guys can expect to see a few pairs of shorts breaking back out, and don't forget to keep your rain jacket at the ready.
Thanks for that, Alex. It's going to be a nice couple days, but then it might start getting cold. Christmas right around the corner. The weather is changing. And now for this week's edition of Unleash the Ram, over break, Ram went to the Lincoln, Nebraska City Zoo, powered by Lincoln Electrical Systems, LES Christmas Light Show.
Hey, what up, Squawk? I am here at the Lincoln Zoo, powered by LES. These two guys right here. Carson sent me out here just to, show you the feel of the Lincoln Zoo lights. And it really is a really nice night out here. As you can see with all the videos and pictures, it's really beautiful of what the LES company can do for the zoo, and it's great for the families to come out and get together. So hope you guys can come out here at Lincoln, Nebraska to the LES Zoo. Thanks, guys. Back to you, Carson.
Seems like Ram found the place to be in Lincoln.
Absolutely.
So we have a few more minutes that you guys have to spend with us now, and we're gonna kill some time. So first off, I wanna start by mentioning something that I mentioned earlier in my interview with Dr. Barrett. We here at the college, in collaboration with Norfolk Community Theater, have a production that we're opening up on Thursday night. 7:30 here in the Cox Activities Center in the theater, you can see us open up our production of A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. It's a comedy musical that's about what the title says. So y'all can feel free to come check that out. Anyone with a Northeast ID, student or faculty, can get in free. Any other students are going to be $5, and any adults that are not students or do not have Northeast affiliation are $20 at the door.
That sounds great. I'm gonna have to come check that out.
Please do. We would love to see as many of you in the audience as possible. And now we've got a little bit of malarkey here for you. Just a few questions with some interesting answers that you might not know. So Carson, do you know why you need to supply oxygen to a tropical fish tank when fish are quite capable of surviving without extra oxygen in nature?
I don't.
Okay, this is one that made a lot of sense after I read it, but definitely isn't something I've thought about, even as someone who had fish when I was younger. It's because lakes and oceans are filled with plants that supply oxygen to the water, and since we don't have as many plants in our fish tanks, We have a lot less oxygen.
Okay, that does make sense. So now I got an interesting one for you. So with your standard airline planes that carry passengers, Boeing jets are typically 707, 727, 737, and 747. But why is there not a 717?
I don't know. I would assume it probably has something to do with a war being planes, but what is it?
You're kind of in the general sense. So there actually is a 717 plane, but it is only used by the Air Force.
Okay,
United States Air Force.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah.
It's all of these planes, most planes started out being used for warfare, and so it makes sense that the Air Force has one of their own. Let's do one more. You got anything real interesting on that card there?
I don't think so. What do you got for
Okay.
me?
Why doesn't a clinical thermometer register room temperature when you take it out of your medicine cabinet?
I'm not sure.
Okay. It's because thermometers have a valve which allows the mercury to rise when taking a person's temperature, but prevents the mercury from falling back down unless it's shaken. And so this allows for an accurate reading after it's taken from the mouth. Okay.
Interesting.
But I hope you guys learned a little something there. I certainly did, especially about the airplane.
Planes. Yeah, that was really interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a wrap on this week's edition of the Squawk. Be sure to join us next week as we wrap up the semester with the Squawk.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Have a squawking good week, Hawks.